All right, looks like it's live. And we'll do the usual test to make sure. All right, looks like it's live. Yeah, that's pretty much making sure, I think. Okay, so that's good. So, I'll put this here and move this over here and move this over here. So anyway, I've been watching volcano stuff. Yeah, I don't know whether to, yeah, no full screen, I don't think. Anyway, really quite interesting, this whole lava thing. And, just thinking about the, the energy, moving so much mass so far. And just this thing spraying hundreds of feet into the air, molten rock. It's just, amazing. So they have some live cams of different things, but the images aren't nearly as good as they were 2 weeks ago. They had a really good camera that was close, and you could really watch the stuff live, just shooting out of the hole in the ground. And it really is amazing to, So they have these static images. This is the crater that keeps subsiding, as they say, the edges keep falling into the middle, sinking because all the lava's shooting out of that hole. And I didn't turn the doorbell off, but that's okay. Hopefully it won't keep doing that. Just a cat or a deer or something. So anyway, yeah, it's really quite interesting. So I think I'll make like a page that updates these images automatically. And I'd like to be able to store them on my server, but I really don't know how to do that. How to just from my server, and then I could turn them into a little animation or something. But anyway, it's so many projects, so little time, blah, 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 blah. So back to a comment. Somewhere there's a comment. I honestly don't understand why Mindless Marbles obsesses on such small detail so much. So childish. Oh, that's right. I have to pop out the chat. There was something I was forgetting. Yes. Oh, chat is missing. Where the hell is the chat? Why the hell is everything? Uh-oh. I'm going to end up freezing something if I ain't careful here. You have to be very careful not to freeze anything. Where's the chat? There it is, but no, this must be the menu for the chat. Okay, then. Pop out the chat. All right, now I'll get rid of this. And move this over, and now we can put back on this and zoom it in because it looks better zoomed in, I think. So yeah, I have to make a page that does that automatically. But anyway, so it only updates like every 5 minutes or something, this images, but it's better than nothing. But it's just a big, river of lava that just goes for miles, to the other corner of the island, and that's what spills out. And it's just an amazing amount of crap. Wiped out 500 homes in one night the other night. Nobody even, it's like nobody even talked about it. So for a month, it takes out 140 homes. And then in one night, it takes out 500. And it's like, Hawaii is a weird place. I mean, what they pay attention to is quite bizarre. But anyway, whatever. People seem obsessed with some rooster. Anyway, the whole thing is just silly. People aren't very serious people. Anyway, what was that? Oh yeah, so the Mindless Marvels did post a comment. Of course, you just can't resist. It's in one of these things here somewhere. I kept it before I deleted it and blocked them again. Nothing else you can do. I mean, sort of made the rules and can't obey them, so fuck it. So he says, this is not just a detail. So he's responding to the other guy who says, why are you obsessing about it? Yes, it is just it's a piece of minutia. And compared to, again, the overall points being made in the volume of videos here about how the conventional model is just smashed together over time. And it's smashed together out of assumptions. They shouldn't even call it science. They should call it assumptance. because that's all they're doing is assumptions. They just make assumptions based on really thin little pieces of glimmers of evidence, just glimmers of an idea that it might be. And that's all they need is a might be. And then they'll just forget about the fact that it might be 700 other things. And they'll glue themselves to a regime, and they just won't let it go. And it's just like a religion in that sense, just dogmatic, rigid, belligerent, and hostile to any revision. So presupposition, yes, this has nothing to do with science in the sense where you do experiments, you create a volume of evidence, and then you draw conclusions. Nothing like what Newton did, where they don't have the courage to say, we just aren't sure. You just don't have the courage to say it, and that's it. So anyway, I'm trying to point out a specific legitimate criticism. So again, it isn't a specific legitimate criticism because it's one I've dealt with over and over again, this aberration problem, this idea that somehow the gravity can't work unless it's moving instantaneously. It's an argument that's easily defeated by lots of arguments. This isn't a legitimate specific criticism. It's a piece of garbage. It's trolling. The entire conversation was about the fact that the criticism of aberration does not say gravity goes to a specific location. Well, I'm going to read what it says, and that's primarily its argument that somehow the gravity, because objects are moving, they'll move away from the gravity, and instead talks about something else. What else? I repeat, no one is saying gravity goes to a specific location. So here they are saying that. That's what the argument is. And so this is all just more nonsense. Because if you understand the inverse square law, you don't worry about aberration, because there's the same gravity no matter where you go. You can't move someplace and avoid the gravity. Obviously, you move away, but you can't move someplace within the same distance to the object and evade gravity. You can't do it. I kept saying this over and over, repeating myself. And again, and pointlessly repeating yourself, because that's not the argument the idiot was making about the fact that somehow you need gravity to move instantaneously or the object won't be affected by it. Clearly, it doesn't matter. Let's say if it moved, let's say it took 2 days for the gravity to get from the sun to the earth. Once you get past the first 2 days, that is, once you're past the point where the initial gravity needs to be felt to hold the earth into orbit, it doesn't matter if the gravity is 2 days old. It's going to be 2-day-old gravity forever, and it's still always going to be exactly the same force on the earth. So it can't possibly make any difference. And as I've pointed out over and over in these videos, gravity is inductive. So yes, it does take some time to develop a gravitational relationship. I kept saying this over and over again. It's repeating yourself. That's right. And there's just no point in you doing it, because you're the one misunderstanding the argument. That no one is saying gravity goes in a specific location. So you've now repeated yourself in this comment, saying it twice. Yet what are you arguing? Oh, that isn't in the comment anywhere. What it is that you are saying isn't here anywhere. It isn't in any of your comments. What you're actually, the accusation you're actually making doesn't exist. Yet he still keeps yelling, suggesting that the criticism, that's the criticism, and then he convinces everyone as if I'm saying gravity does not go to a specific location. So again, it keeps saying it 3 times now, what the argument isn't, yet he's not saying what the argument is. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Question mark. No, what's wrong with you is what you ought to be asking yourself. He's taking a real point of criticism. So he says this is a real point. It's not a real point. I've dealt with it. It's a stupid argument for it to even be made against Lesage gravity, because the same criticism could be made against bent space. So it's just a silly argument to make because it's easily defeated. And turning it into a straw man. Now, is this okay? So again, he's calling it a straw man when that's not what the argument with the other guy was making. And here he still hasn't pointed out what he is saying. He keeps saying what he's not saying, and he's not saying what he is saying. So anyway, are you people even paying attention? Well, they shouldn't pay attention because you're a fucking troll. So we'll go to the Lesage Gravity Wikipedia page, and we'll illustrate why this guy's an asshole to keep going over this minutia. All right. A lot of people argue for God from that stance. Yes, well, I mean, I've pointed out it's a religion. Physics is a religion. It's not a serious science. Incredibly trivial and silly. And doing the Sean Carroll video is just such a perfect illustration of the bullshit. It's just bullshit after bullshit after bullshit after bullshit, all piled on assumption after assumption after assumption after assumption, and all of the assumptions are based on a tiny flicker of evidence. No dramatic evidence, no big pile of evidence, just tiny pieces of evidence. All right, Wikipedia, Lesage Gravity. Blah, blah, blah. So they basically say in here, oh, it was a very good idea. Newton loved it. This guy loved it. That guy loved it. Oh, this guy hated it. This guy didn't. Blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't Lesage Gravity. It was La Fontaine, whatever his name is, Fatio. So Fatio is the guy who really should get credit for this thing. It shouldn't be called Lesage. It should be called Fatio Gravity. And I don't know why they do that bullshit. So here, Newton signed Fatio's paper, making him feel quite good. But they had a falling out a few years later, and blah, blah, blah. And Fatio was blah, blah, blah. And so blah, blah, blah. And so they always argue this particle gravity in this strict mode where they don't use any imagination. So they always do it based on the shape or the surface, and that these little bits are hitting the surface. They don't even pay attention to the full argument, which is their ultramundane bits, and they're hitting bits inside of whatever they're traveling through. They're not just hitting the surface. They just ignore all of that. It's quite pitiful, actually. These arguments are so weak and unsubstantial. Even Darwin, the later Darwin, I guess, 1905. No, George Darwin. Wouldn't George be his father? Yeah, I know. That's too late. 1905 must have been his son. Oh, that doesn't sound right. But anyway, moving on. So we have all these different things. Speed of gravity. Here we go. Aberration. So let's do the aberration section. Aberration. As shown by Laplante, another possible Lesage effect is orbital aberration due to finite speed of gravity. So again, a finite speed to gravity is exactly what current physics has to deal with too. Bent space moves at the speed of light too. Unless the Lesage particles are moving at speeds much greater than the speed of light, as Lesage and Kelvin supposed. So again, they can't recognize that. No, we know it goes to the speed of light. So yes, obviously Lesage and Fatio would certainly be able to adapt their theory to that change. It's a fact. They say, oh, okay, well, it's not a big deal. It still works. Not a problem. There is a time delay in the interaction between bodies. Yes, and that's evidenced in the fact that you don't get to go, like, say, gravity's pushing you down 10 meters per second. You don't move 10 meters per second the first 10 meters. It takes a while to accelerate you. So we know that the process of being moved by gravity is obstructed by many things. All right, in the case of orbital motion, this results in each body reacting to a retarded position of the other. So again, it's obvious retarded position just means that the body has moved to a new location, and now somehow the effect being caused is not going to reach them because now they're in a wrong position, which creates a leading force component. So again, arguing somehow that there's some component of gravity that's going to be ahead of you or behind you or something like that, and that the gravity isn't actually being caused by the other body. Each body creates gravity. The Earth has gravity. The Earth is attracting the sun, in a sense, creating a low pressure on the sun. The sun is doing the same to the Earth. They're two separate gravitational forces. Contrary to the drag effect, which I've also pointed out can be solved, but that's a separate argument. This component will act to accelerate both objects away from each other. Now, there's absolutely no evidence that it would accelerate anything away. Okay, so the idea that it would create a pushing pressure, there's absolutely no reason to believe that. So that's just garbage. In order to maintain stable orbits, the effect of gravity must either propagate. So this is their statement. In order to maintain stable orbits, the effects of gravity must, they're saying, they know this for a fact. It's not a fact. Either propagate much faster than the speed of light, or must not be purely central force. Absolutely no evidence for that argument. None. It's a garbage argument. It's silly. It just has, it means absolutely nothing. We already know how the gravity it obeys the inverse square law, and we know that Mach gravity duplicates the inverse square law, and that this is a non-argument. This has been suggested. Oh, it's been suggested that it must not, and you've proven something. It must. Now it's just suggested by many as a conclusive disproof. Okay, so this is a conclusive disproof, and there's nothing here. There's absolutely no explanation for how any of this pushing away ever happens, or how the force isn't entirely dependent on the center of the gravities and the fact that a certain mass has to be accelerated towards another mass in net. And that's all that needs to happen. And it doesn't matter how fast or slow the gravity moves. I could make it move as slow as a turtle, and it would still keep the Earth in orbit. Now, it wouldn't be able to capture the Earth, but it would be able to maintain the Earth once it's in an orbit. So it's just an absolute bullshit argument with no facts cited. There's no footnotes to a fact. There's nothing. It's been suggested, okay, by many. Who the hell are the many? So it's suggested by many as a conclusive disproof. So somehow it's a conclusive disproof suggested by many, and yet they can't cite the argument, okay, of any Lesage type theory. So any theory that's anything like Lesage, they say can't overwhelm this idiotic, meaningless point. Okay, in contrast, general relativity is consistent with the lack of appreciable aberration identified by Laplace. So somehow we are to believe that bent space has a catch. Okay, so gravity moves the speed of light. It's slow, but we have a catch that saves relativity. Because even though gravity propagates at a speed of light in general relativity, the expected aberration is almost exactly canceled by velocity-dependent terms in the interaction. So now, what is those? What the fuck could possibly be so magical about a velocity-dependent term? What is a velocity-dependent term in the interaction? I mean, isn't that just charming? Oh, you mean a mathematical gimmick? Not a physical reality gimmick, just a mathematical gimmick. So Einstein got rid of the problem by just erasing it. Yes, that's all you're saying? He ignored it. So instead of explaining it or accounting for it, he just put a factor in the equation to get rid of it. And that's all that says, really. All that says is we have a mathematical gimmick that erases the problem. Period. It's not a physical reality that erases it. It's not a physical circumstance that erases it. We just erased it as a problem. They didn't even invent dark matter to fix it. It's nothing. They invented a term, a velocity-dependent term, to abolish the problem. Where at least I'm explaining why it's not a problem. Because the matter bodies act as a converter, and they convert any movement towards. So anything off this straight line, right, up and down, anything a little bit this way counts as movement towards the other object. And that's why you get rid of aberration. And that's why gravity basically takes every bit of material motion that has any vector in the direction of the object will be counted as causing, okay, a shadow. All right. So, dealt with it again. I have done this in previous videos. I've pointed out how it's not an issue. And clearly, this entire paragraph was about the problem of the force not being, I'm moving somehow away from the force I created. And that's not how gravity works. It's not how charge works, by the way, either. But anyway, it's not how magnetism works, by the way, either. So it's just a non-real argument. Not a real argument, a garbage argument. And such. See the update picture. Ooh, it's getting dark, so it's they put the infrared on it at night, so it'll change quite a bit. And this is the crater, so nothing fell in there recently. Well, you always have to update these. See, that's why I got to put a refresher on it. Yeah, like a couple hours ago, a bunch of shit fell in and a bunch of brown crap came out. I know, not terribly interesting, but it's interesting in the sense of, you know, this is real shit happening in the real world. Anyway, I find it interesting. All right, so where did my stupid people thing go? Is this it? That's it? Yeah, that's it. All right, stupid people thing we'll put up here. And yeah, maybe we'll just make it smaller because there isn't many people commenting, so I don't need to see everything. Yeah. All right. They say that because of galaxy spin, now I don't even know how that could possibly have anything to do with this conversation. How the fuck can you type something that totally off the subject? They say that because of galaxy spin. Yeah, it's just completely irrelevant. Yeah, how does the spin of the galaxy change gravity between two bodies who are moving exactly the same through the galaxy? The Earth and the Sun have exactly the same motion through the galaxy. They're not moving differently in the galaxy. They're on the same school bus, and they're moving relative to each other. So you preach this relativity shit, and you don't even understand the concept of relative motion. When you both have the same movement, then you can forget about that movement and just count the movements that are different, not the same. Yeah, that's what relativity means. That your galactic movement is irrelevant in this circumstance because you both have the same movement in the galaxy. Your velocity has the same vector, your galactic velocity. So it cancels out. The only vectors that matter are your relatively proximate differences in velocity. Eesh. So I guess if people aren't going to comment, I could go to the Sean Carroll thing and play that. Now, why would I look at Alan Girths? Who the fuck is Alan Girths? You know, and where did you get this idea that I could give a fuck about cosmological nonsense anyway? I mean, it's like the worst place to study physics. Physics is the big universe is the small universe. There's only one universe, and it's the little one. Okay, the little shit is the real universe. The big shit is in the little universe. People are so stupid. Yeah, well, 500 were lost in one fucking night when that stupid whatever the beach got nailed from this river of lava that went 2 miles east or whatever and crashed into the ocean, took that whole bay out, took out that little 300-year-old lake, and but it was just kind of funny. I mean, one day, I was watching one day like June 2nd or something, and the total in homes was 140, and then all of a sudden, like June 4th, 500 homes one night, and it's like nobody's like, there was like it wasn't even an event. I couldn't understand it. I don't know how that couldn't have been an event. I mean, it was incredible to watch. I mean, you just this freaking river of lava going right next to roads and shit, and it's like 30 feet high. The levees on it are 30 feet high, and it's like you could have a house and a road next to your house, and the lava is 30 feet up, off the road, 30 feet, and maybe 50 yards away from that levee, there's a stream of freaking lava flowing. It's just amazing. I mean, if one of those levees breaks, I mean, that lava is going to move so fast. I mean, if there's people still living in their houses, they've got to be out of their minds. The levee breaks. It's not like water's going to come flying out. It's going to be freaking hot lava. Oh, the Brody-Goff-Vindican theorem. Like, I'm supposed to give a fuck what that is. I bet it's a shit theorem because I haven't even heard of it. I'm sure it's useless rubbish. Yeah, it's just I'm just surprised, and there's only one person has a live feed of these images and they, have them on, but they're all talking about a fucking rooster. They're all talking about hamburgers. I mean, right when people's houses are getting wiped out and they're having all these frivolous, trivial conversations, and you're just like, man, I mean, this is real shit happening to people here. And you people are all just silly turds. I mean, this, I don't know. I mean, more lava, like one volcano, the whole thing in like 30 years, they said in 30 years, the one freaking volcano, this one fissure has produced more lava in 5 days than that volcano did in 30 years. I mean, this stuff is spewing it. And the Champagne Ponds vacation tide pools are like the best place to swim around and snorkel. Yeah, well, they're pretty far north, so I don't think they're going to get to those. But it's, fuck. Fuck. I mean, that bay was bad. I mean, turtles and everything got wiped out, and there was a freaking stray cat I saw in a video, and the guy didn't even take it home with him. Fucking asshole. It's bad. Yeah, Capulco Bay, the whole thing is just gone. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, just all of it, all the infrastructure. I mean, this is going to cost $1 billion. The whole developments now don't even have an access road, and the access, if they rebuild the road, it's going to have to, they'll have to build a freaking bridge so you can get on top of the lava because it's 30 feet high. I mean, it's insane. Well, yeah, Guatemala is just awful. I mean, no, I'm not going to deny that. I'm just saying that this stuff, as you can see, I mean, Guatemala is one big blow up, and that's the end of it. This has been going on for a month. Right in people's backyards. I mean, this is just, I'm just saying, this is visually a little bit more impressive in a sense. I mean, look, the Guatemala thing, you see the explosion out of people's, car cams, and you just can't believe the scale of it. I mean, it's so fucking monstrous. But I mean, this is, like I said, this is spewing this little red thing in this picture is 100 and some fucking feet tall. I mean, it's just gurgling fucking molten rock out of the ground. I mean, it's just amazing to see when you see the up close images of it. It's just stunning. I mean, you just, I find it. I mean, I was just sitting there, I was watching, I'm sitting there staring at it for, 15 minutes. I'm just watching this lava fucking gurgle out of the ground. It's amazing. Yeah, this is the main island. It's fucking Hawaii. Yeah, the big one. It's getting bigger, but it's getting rockier, unfortunately. It's already got enough rocks, you know. But it's just it's an amazing amount of fucking lava that's spilled out of this thing. Africa broke its core expanding. I don't know what that means. So, it's not where most of the people are. Yeah, well, I don't know much about Hawaii. I figured the good beaches have to be on the other side because all these beaches look like shit. I wouldn't want to live. It's all rocky and shit. I mean, who the hell wants to go to a beach full of glass rocks? Well, 150,000 is still a lot of people. I don't know. I'm just saying it's just a real, if my home got freaking lava'd out, I'd be, such a pretty dramatic bad day thing. I mean, I'm just saying all these people lose their houses, all the infrastructure that's gone, all the electricity, all the bullshit that's got to be rebuilt. I mean, it's people are going to be paying for this for years. Yeah, the rain is another problem. I don't care too much for rain. Apparently the black sand beaches are actually created by this side of the island. I mean, the hot lava, the hotter it is, the more likely it is to create black sand. So it's the hot lava that creates the black sand. I've been learning a lot about, accidentally learning a lot about all this lays and all kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, the bay did look awful nice, I have to concede. This really isn't about Trump. Trump is just another silly person on earth. I'm sure he'd be talking about the rooster if he knew about the volcano at all. Yeah, I just can't, imagine with the acid in the water and, it's probably pretty bad for swimming too, right? It just cut you to pieces like a wave hits you. Just all of a sudden you're bleeding. Yeah, it just rips you to pieces. You get pumice, get the skin all pumice off you. But anyway, it just impresses the hell out of me looking at it. That's all. Rivers of lava are pretty interesting. Can't imagine living with it. That's for sure. Yeah, well, they're all kind of crazy. Some of these people. I mean, I was watching some tour guides videos, and he was pretty hilarious because he's walking right up to the fucking thing. It's gurgling all this fucking lava and shit. It's just oh, explosion! Like maybe we better leave. I mean, they are kind of crazy. I mean, I guess I'd be curious too, but I mean, you see the pictures of these 50-pound rocks flying through the air, and it's like, yeah, I don't really want to get hit by one of those. You guys wanted They started a war with Japan for it. For what? What are you talking about, crazy person? But even the crater at Kilauea, right? Yeah, Kilauea, I think it is. You know, it fell in. It's just kind of funny. It's creeping up to the parking lot, and they had an overlook that you could, look down into the crater, and the whole overlook has fallen into the crater. But it is interesting to consider what will happen is, say, if this fissure clogs up and now the crater's clogged, then you could have an explosion here. You could have, if the crater blows with all this crap falling into it, that's going to shoot an awful lot of rubble into the air. I mean, this thing looks like it's going to, this looks like more than just a usual Hawaiian volcano. And it's like, people are just kind of awful casual about it, but it looks like it's doing something different this time. This is like a 200-year eruption, not a 50-year eruption. This is maybe the big one, kind of. This is like setting up to be a big one. And it's like, no one's, nothing to see here, just a little bit of lava, blah, blah, blah. Technically, it's not in the Ring of Fire. It's being caused by a completely different plate tectonics thing. Yeah, I don't know enough about all these volcanoes, but it's it does make you wonder, like when when the top of the volcano is sinking, it does make you like, what goes down comes up, that kind of thing. Yeah, the Earth expanding theory. Oh God, I just can't. The shit people come up with, this this growing Earth thing. It's like the flat Earth thing. You're saying, how could people why do they play with this nonsense? The oil is made by the Earth. I mean, it's just on its face. It sounds so stupid. The Earth makes oil? Come on. And it makes water too. That's the other thing it makes. It makes oil and water. Interesting. Good thing it doesn't make it at the same time. And their direction, really, but there is a common sense, like the mountain deflating. Yeah, it is all this whole idea of predicting where it's going to go. Because this river just keeps elevating, so the river's actually getting higher and higher. And so logically, you say there's a point where that river's going to figure out, well, if I go through the side here, I can drop down really quick and get the hell into some shit. And so you kind of think that eventually one of these levees is going to burn through. But, who knows? But it's just so much energy too. Just thinking about capturing this, and you're just saying, geez, I mean, you can make enough electricity to power the universe with this fucking lava's right on the surface. I mean, they should have been able to tap this stuff better. I mean, they had the one geothermal plant there, but they should have had they should have really been taking advantage of it. There's so much. I mean, it's just, you see it. You're just saying this, just imagine the amount of energy this is. I mean, the thing is spewing. They said it in cubic yards, 300 cubic yards a second. I mean, it's gigantic volume of lava spilling out of this thing. Yeah, well, they should do it the simple way. I mean, they got pipes full of bad chemicals and all kinds of weird shit. I just think they could do it to just create a pond with a deep well in the middle of the pond, so it just bubbles up like a geyser and just heats the water on the surface. They could make it simple, not keep it uncomplicated. So if it gets, if the lava covers it, who cares? You just dig a new hole. Yeah, I'm just imagining that Iceland probably does it right. And I think Hawaii was doing it wrong, but that's just my impression. But I just mean it's so much energy. It's like you're saying, gee, yeah, I mean, I like the Yellowstone geysers and all, but maybe you ought to just, put some wells in and tap that shit. Yeah, well, I don't know much about, maybe they are doing it wrong. I'm just saying, I would just do it the cheap, stinky way, but that's just me. I'm cheap. I actually bought some solar panels this week. They were dirt cheap. 100 watts worth of solar panel for 150 bucks. It ain't bad. So I'm actually going to go a little bit solar. I'll be able to run my refrigerator for 10 minutes. Oh, thorium. Why don't we pump thorium into the into the lava and see what would happen? Because we'd probably get more energy out of the thorium that way. Yeah, let's build a thorium plant right on top of the volcano. That'll be really cool. Won't have to worry about containment, right? Yeah, it's easy. Just make the lava even hotter. Yeah. Just make a dam around that lava and then, like aluminum dam or something, right? Aluminum. You have to make it out of something. What? Water. You got plenty of ocean water. Yeah. Okay. Make a giant pond around the lava. Collect the steam for energy and have the thorium in the lava to keep the lava hot. Get from solar canna less than $1 a watt. Well, I'm just saying, I don't know. For panels delivered to my house for $1 a watt? I don't think so. No, Thor. Piro has little. He has a whole collection of little unicorns that he plays with, and one of them is thorium. Thorium is really, really cold uranium. It's like really limp, really limp uranium. So it barely gets hot. Did you see a story about this huge solar farm that creates a 900-degree space above the array and sets birds on fire? Yes, that's the way to do it right. It's mirrors. You just got to put nets over it to keep the damn birds out. Because yeah, it's a little messy. I love the mirror farms. I mean, that's just too simple. That's the way I do it. I just put them everywhere. That's just the smart, simple way to do it. No, you don't got to dig up any rare earth minerals or any of that shit. Just a bunch of mirrors, build a water tank, and boil the water. I mean, it's dirt simple. That's the way it should be done. I think it has thousands of them. Yes. Each one enough for an average California home. I don't know what that means, but I mean, one mirror ain't going to do a whole house, but I just mean that it's a really efficient way to do solar. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than photovoltaics. And if they subsidize something, that's what they should have subsidized was mirrors. They should have subsidized the production of cheap aluminum mirrors. All right, wholesale Canadian solar, 270 watt panel. Well, that can't be one panel, so $235. Wait, yes, is that the price for it shipped? Where is this? Where is this 270 watt panel that you get for $235? Just saying, I haven't seen prices like that. Yeah, well, I'm talking about little mirrors, not big mirrors. They don't need to be big. They have a bunch of them. They track the sun exactly. That's the way everything should track. My panels are going to track the sun. You got to track it. You're an idiot if you don't track it. Oh no, these are panels. Well, I don't know what you mean by panels. So, I mean, if there's photovoltaics, then they shouldn't be burning birds. Let's see. Is Thunderfoot still hawking his solar roadways, Bogdoogle? He doesn't believe in solar roadways, so I don't even know why he's actually hawking that they're idiots, and they are idiots. Yeah, I guess they reflect enough light to do that. I just don't see how they could. They're designed not to reflect light, right? I mean, that's the whole point of them, is not to reflect the light. So I don't know. That doesn't make much sense. And why would they all be? Why would be they'd have to focus to be able to get to 900 degrees, right? I mean, if they're all pointed at the sun, they wouldn't be creating a parabola, so they wouldn't be creating a focus that would be 900 degrees. As with all Piro stories, this one has some flaws in it somewhere. This is not a perfect story he's telling. There's a problem with your story. Well, I don't think there are wavelengths it doesn't use, frankly, but that's just my opinion. And I still would argue it can't create a focus. I mean, it has to be a parabola to create 900 degrees. You have to be focusing the light. You can't just reflect light to create 900 degrees. You have to focus light. So I still say there's something wrong with your story. Yeah, well, there's lots of technology out there, and some is more efficient than others, and some is more expensive than others, and all that crap. So mine are cheap Harbor Freight panels. Are not the best in the world, but like I said, it's I couldn't find anything cheaper that gets to my house. Yeah, well, China has a lot of things cornered just because China is huge, but they're doing the work. I mean, the Chinese actually are going to Africa and living there, they're actually, who wants to do that, right? So, they want me add a link to LA Times. Oh. Well, LA Times is probably a bad thing to be reading anyway. I'm sure they fucked the story up royally. Well, I can go find it at some period in the future, but I'm not going to go read a specific story. But I'm just saying there's something. Look, I can point out the logic, right? I'm just saying that you have to focus light to create 900 degrees. You can't just reflect it. So there's something wrong with their array if it's focusing light. So, I mean, sometimes technology is not implemented very well. I remember World was on a lot did a video at a wind farm. It was really quite hilarious because they had tours to the wind farm, and not a single windmill was moving. It's just they're all just sitting there, hundreds of windmills, and not one of them was moving. I don't get why they can't avoid that unless they are throwing away heat by blocking light the array doesn't absorb. Well, I'm just saying I'm clearly they can avoid it, and they're clearly wasting energy if if they're heating the atmosphere to 900 degrees, they're making a mistake somewhere. So I'm just saying it's clearly the story is a flawed story, and it just made the news because that's all that's on the news is flaws. Flawed things get on the news. News is just about who was the most broken today, who functioned the most poorly of all the assholes in America, who was the biggest asshole today. And that's the news. Complete waste of time. Well, again, you can keep saying the story's real. I'm saying there's something wrong with the story. There's something wrong with it. There's a retard running the solar farm. I don't know what to say. Something's way wrong because photovoltaics tracking the sun don't magnify the rays of light. They don't do that. That's not their job. Yeah, well, clearly they should never turn this stuff off. They ought to just pump water into a water tower. So, they ought to just run them full blast all the time and just pump the water. And then they can use the water pressure later to, create some electricity. Or create water pressure. I mean, at least it does something. Heat island effect. Oh, that's not very helpful. It's not photovoltaic farm. It's in Nevada and it heats salt. Well, that's the smart thing to do, yes. But it's better to heat water, I think. Was the news better when Walter Cronkite was on the evening news? Well, yeah, it was filtered. So the news was mostly political, and you talked about what world leaders were doing, and had all kinds of stories about stuff that was really important in a sense, stuff that was going to affect your life. It wasn't about what Walter Crazy Pants did today. And that's all the news is now, is what did the stupidest motherfuckers in America do today? That's all the news ever is. I'm just saying that heating salt, you're still going to have to heat water to generate the pressure for the turbine. So I just don't know, if you're saying salt water, well, okay, fine. But you want to put something in the water to make it hold. I mean, water already holds an awful lot of heat. So, I mean, it's really good for that. So I don't know, I'm just saying the turbines are going to need water, unless you want to pump some other kind of poisonous chemical. Well, the point is that solar should always, 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 always be on the ground. And ideally, it should be on a slope. And ideally, there shouldn't be any trees in the way. It shouldn't be on stupid fucking roofs. That's my only point. You're throwing away half the value, half the efficiency of the panels is being thrown away by bolting them in one position on a roof that has the wrong slope and doesn't move with the sun. It's retardedly stupid. Yeah, they always seem to want to pump a toxic chemical. it's like I said, even this geothermal plant they have in Hawaii, it's full of sulfur dioxide and I don't know, ammonia, monochromiumite. It's just full of all kinds of shit that you're just saying, oh, that's great. Oh, you're going to pour lava on that? Oh, yeah, that might work. Yeah, sure. That might be great. I mean, it just sounds like Bhopal waiting to happen next, right? They have a giant gas bomb, and the wind will be just right, and it'll blow it all over the frickin', some other neighborhood. They won't get wiped out by the lava. They'll get wiped out by a big gas cloud. Yeah, the world really needs me running it. It's desperate need. Oh, I haven't updated the picture. My bad. We're missing all the fun. Should be getting dark. Yeah, see, it got dark. See, the infrared really wipes out the thing, but you do get the idea of how much heat it's creating. But look at that river, just pouring like water, just pouring down this freaking river, like whatever it is, 2 miles or some 3 miles. I don't know. It's a long way. So it's going all the way over to the other side of the island, and dumping it in the ocean there. That's the emoji center could be feasible in the U.S. today, somewhat like a modern Hoover Dam. I don't even think you need to do it that big. So you don't need to make a solar farm, the size of Nevada. I'm just saying that clearly, like our town, for example, instead of putting panels on roofs, they ought to put all the panels on one lot, of a couple of acres. And there's lots of lots that are facing the right, lots of hills here. So there's lots of hills facing south. I mean, it's just set up perfect. You could just, and they'd collect twice as much energy and it would cost half as much to maintain. And, so it cost half as much and it would produce twice as much energy. I mean, and the only reason why it isn't done is because everybody's turned into a fucking idiot and thinks we all have to buy everything from a capitalist and do it the wrong way. Yeah, I mean, it's just this. I'm just saying it has to obviously be really, really liquid if it's going 2 miles. So it's obviously one hot stream all the way. It's just really hot lava. And like I said, when those levees goes and all that shit, just all of a sudden is gonna, there's got to be like many, many tons, of hot lava just waiting to get out of where it is. It's like a little lake forming up there, and that lake is just saying, "Let me out, let me out." Can hydroelectricity be expanded any further to a yes? Well, see, I had great ideas for hydro. In the sense that they ought to just forget about some of these places where they do it, with dams and all that stuff. You don't need a dam to do hydro. You just need a big pipe, and you just run the water through the pipe and block it. And the pressure from the gravity, just the height of the pipe, will create what you want, which is a huge amount of water pressure at the base. So as long as you don't pull more water than the stream can provide, you're going to get a huge amount of water pressure. And so you could just do it with a pipe. You don't need to flood huge areas and all that kind of shit. You only do that if you're doing it for agriculture and all these other reasons. But you don't have to create reservoirs to do, hydroelectric. Yeah, it is a weird mix, though. It's funny. Like some of these houses look really nice, and right next door, the guy has a house that looks like it belongs in Haiti. It's like made out of tin and a few garbage cans and a little slanted roof. It's a freaking shed. And it's like, it's just so strange to see when the lava went through. I was watching some of the houses burn down, and some of them were like just really beautiful houses, swimming pools, all that crap. And then right next door, the house is this piece of shit, this garbage house. I don't know what that means. 100 years ago, not many people at all. I don't know what that means. It just seems like a weird neighborhood. That's all. It's like it looks like it's a real expensive neighborhood, but it has these and obviously as people in it, you're saying they must not be paying things through property taxes or something. There must be some reason the poor people can somehow live in the gated communities. And they're all like kind of gated communities. Like one of the things that got wiped out the other night was, these are obviously, rich people. Ah, okay. I couldn't take out 500. Yeah. No, yeah, obviously there's people who, the world's getting crowded. So obviously, I look at there, if I could get a lot for $100, I'd say, sure, I'll put a house up. I just won't put a very good one up. I mean, I'd fall for it too. I mean, it's Hawaii, I can walk to the beach, so to speak, or I can walk to the rocky cliffs. But like I said, watching some of it, one guy had all these nicely manicured macadamia nut trees, and you're just watching the lava plow through, and it was like, oh man, God, that sucks. I mean, you could just see all the work the guy had done to make this nice little macadamia nut plantation, just all wiped out. Yeah, I just mean it must be something like that. They can't have very high property taxes, or all those poor people wouldn't be living there. Yeah, feeding the raccoons is a bad idea. I've been trying to. I have groundhogs here that live under the houses, and so I've been trying to catch them. And I caught one of them, and relocated him without a problem. But now I keep catching raccoons, and I don't want raccoons. But man, do they they hate being in the cages. Holy shit, do they go fucking insane. You let them loose and they just tear, like, and I'm saying, well, he'll never come back here again anyway. So that's the only good thing. But yeah, I feel bad, but it's, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, I just wonder what people do. I mean, I don't know what kind of insurance they have for any of this crap and all that, but oof, it's a lot to lose. I mean, but they all look like bums. It's the other funny part. They all look like hippies, like not even hippies. They look like what are those guys from San Francisco in the old days? What do you call those guys? Beatniks. They all look like beatniks and shit. Hawaii's full of, I don't know, pretty silly looking people. I haven't seen one Hawaiian that looks normal yet. They all look pretty weird. I mean, weird white people, and you know, it's just like I haven't seen like any normal civilians. Yeah, well, opossums have it rough, so you got to feel bad for them. I mean, they only live 3 or 4 years, and they get frozen to death in the winter, and they really have it rough. So I didn't mind when they stole some of my cat's food. They don't get rabies, so they're not like you have to worry about them like raccoons or something. A strange type person would probably actually be a surfer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the funny part. Yeah. So some guy going, dude, normal guy. Uh, you know, the rest of them all look like they all look like they're almost it's almost like Alaska. They all look like they're running from the law. They don't look. They all look like they're hiding in Hawaii. Well, a lot of stuff eats ticks. That's hardly remarkable. They eat ticks. Opossums will eat anything. They will, literally. They'll eat anything. I could give them a piece of lava and they'd try to eat it. Opossums have no taste buds. They will eat anything, any kind of shit. So you can just put any kind of shit out in the walkway if you have a possum and he'll eat it. I mean, they'll eat anything. Yeah, well, I guess they get the northern hideout and the southern hideout. So anyway, I'm not doing much physics here, but sorry, that was my fault. I got volcano distracted. But I mean, I should show some of the videos of this stuff when it's geysing because you could just watch it. I mean, I loved it when it was live because somehow you're like, oh, it's live. It's like really happening right now, and that was somehow cooler. But yeah, it was just it's like watching fish or something. Yeah, just wow, lava. It's like I want to buy like a tank that lavas. It was just it's just fascinating to watch. I had an opossum. They like eggs. Well, I just pointed out they'll eat anything. Yeah, well, those crab guys make a lot of money up there in Alaska too, but I wouldn't want that job. You actually got to be in pretty good shape to, fish in Alaska. That's rough work. Eesh. I don't know how they do it. I mean, just the rough seas alone. I mean, I would be fuck this. I would be out of commission. But just physically staying in the boat. Have you ever tested precious metals for purity using specific gravity test? Well, I mean, I guess in a sense it's as good as some other tests, but in a sense, right? I mean, it depends on what you mix it with. So lead is, pretty heavy, but it's lighter than gold, right? So what's heavier than gold? I'm just thinking that you could still dope it by putting aluminum in and then put some heavier shit in. But, generally speaking, weighing gold is a good test, but I'm not too sure of what else there is that's heavy you could stick inside of it. So I'm not sure for sure it's a good test. I should look that up on a period. For some reason, they don't do that test. I don't know why they don't, but they usually do some other, scratch test or something. Yeah, well, isn't lead's earlier in the periodic table, isn't it? Like two before gold? Or am I wrong? Is it two after? Gold is heavy. Yeah, so you forget which way too. So you're not of any use in this conversation either. Google it. The weight to displacement ratio. Yes, that's exactly what I'm just saying. You could just put it in, weigh it and then do its volume with water or something, and then you could say this is how much it has to weigh. I just mean if you want to dope gold, you need something heavier, so then you can dope it with something lighter. But I've pointed out that in a troubled economy, I'm certainly not going to trust somebody if they walk up to me with Krugerrands and say, "Here, this is $1,000 worth of gold." And I'll be like, "Yeah, sure it is." All right, there we go. 3 heavier. Good. So see, lead, you could just, lead up your gold, and then you could throw fucking popcorn in there and no one's going to know. Yeah, well, you can make all the heavy elements radioactive, fairly easily. Well, the difference between buoyancy and gravity is the interesting, the whole buoyancy thing is quite interesting. Because that really just has to do with your relative position in a mixture of substances. And so gravity is sort of irrelevant to buoyancy. Is it just has to do with how voluminous your atoms are. I'm going to update the image. Probably isn't going to change much. Ooh, it's brighter. Ooh, hotter. Getting hotter. Yeah, $12.98. I remember when it was $20 an ounce. When I was a kid, $20 an ounce. And I thought it was a bad investment then. And, now it's an insanely stupid investment. Now I should play the Sean Carroll video, but I'll save that, I guess, for a serious room. More serious. Because he goes on to explain, the finding of the Higgs and, the whole the whole story is just so cooked. It's to keep the processor cost up. I don't know what that means, but I don't think anybody's deliberately inflating the price of gold. It's just clearly the rich have more than enough money to buy everything, so they're just buying everything. Yeah, silver does seem like a better investment, at least less downside potential. But I don't think precious metals in a bad economy are going to be worth anything. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to be worth much, but that way. It's all the bad money. Like, say if the stock market crashes, everything's, oh yeah, everybody will buy gold. They won't be buying gold because they'll be selling their gold to pay their stock market losses. So gold there's not going to be any buyers. Because all the bad money will be dying. All the debt money. So everything will go down. Yeah, I don't know if silver oxidizes very rapidly though. I mean, it tarnishes. It doesn't really rust away. So, the oxidization really is just superficial and surface. Yeah, treasury bonds. Oh yeah, they're a great investment. Go buy those up. You might get 2 cents on your dollar. Won't matter because they'll start printing the money. So the money you'll be inflated out of any value. So even if you get your value back, you'll get it back in dollars. That it'd be $1 million for a loaf of bread. So Yeah, it won't do you any good. Oh dear, another silly person in their machines. Piro has this delusion that the little machines are going to do all the work, and all the rest of us will just loaf around in our cabanas and drink, whatever. I have to come up with a name of a drink that has a unicorn in it. Unicorns. We'll all be drinking unicorns, out of double straws. Not gonna happen, I'm afraid. Well, frankly, I don't think water companies are going to be doing all that well either, frankly. Because no one's going to want to pay for water. So they'll just start catching it in buckets. People will not just play around, we will fight, whatever that means. We'll certainly kill each other, yes. Yeah, well, as long as we kill the rich, I'll be happy. Ah, good. Draft science questions. Too bad you can't answer any of my questions. It seems kind of a shame that no one chooses to answer my simple questions. No, artificial intelligence is an artificial concept. Our intelligence is mostly made out of our capacity to value. Without that capacity, we don't even have reasoning skills. Okay, what is the name of Gary theory? Doesn't really matter. It's a unification theory, so we just call it the unification theory. The right unification theory. I thought Ton, no, I don't like Ton at all. Let's stay the fuck away from girly words. Was a great name, by the way. No, it's quantum. It's quantizable, so we could call it quantum theory. Yeah, that's what I'll call it. How does fission work in Gary theory? It works the same way. I mean, it's just electrons and protons. You don't need any neutrinos to do it. That's just made up. So, that's just nonsensical rubbish. I get the idea you don't like the questions answered. I don't know what you mean. Don't like the questions answered. I don't know what that means. No, I'd like to hear answers to my questions and would rather describe your own answers, more nonsense, which I am more than happy to add to my collection of ideas other people think. Well, I don't know what the hell that means, but I don't care for the tone of it at all. I care for answers. I like answers. I ask a question and somebody answers the question. That I like. So why don't you explain how the concave lens of a gravity lens works the same way as a convex lens? Why don't you explain how that's possible? How it focuses light. How does the concave lens focus, magnify light from a distant object? GQ theory. Well, I don't really want to do this Gary thing. I don't need to put my name on it. The theory speaks for itself. It's a force matter theory, so maybe we should say FM theory, quantum FM. 105.7 FM. I'll come up with a name like that. Yeah, number 3. I don't know. But anyway, I don't really. It seems to me the least of my worries is having a name for it. LOL. If we go after the rich people, would last longer. Not they would have nukes to put together bacteria. I don't know what you're talking about. So who cares? You prefer to describe your theory. When I give an answer, you go ballistic. I mean, if the answers were relevant to the question, I'd say fine. But no, you don't. This is just revisionist Puro history again. I don't reject rational answers, but you don't rationally deal with the issue that's presented. You just tell stories. I interpret that as you not really wanting it. On the theory, you don't want to go ballistic, whatever. This whining about ballisticness is just totally irrelevant. The questions are sitting there gaping, just gaping, saying, stick a penis in me. And, I'm afraid My penis never gone that deep before. I mean, it's just this is just bullshit. The questions are right there for you to answer and prove me wrong, and you're not doing it. Well, I need to name it to refer to it. Gary's unification theory. There, that's good enough for now. In Mendham's unification theory. Draft Sciences unification theory. There. .com. Okay. When I have available time, I'll work on a name. You have permanently destroyed my understanding of bent space. LOL. Good. As it needs to be. It's a silly idea. It's just so silly. Nothing is bent, and that's why stuff moves, because nothing told it to. The unforce. Yeah, the unforce moved it. Yeah, same. I'm waiting for a new comment. Yes, a new one yet. I'll do an update of the image, see if it gets brighter or darker. I vote for darker. Oh, it got brighter. My vote is wrong. Just goes like that all day long, all day, all night. It just keeps spewing and spewing and spewing. It's just amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Gratification of space. No, I do not gratify anything. Do you have a specific summary video page with the questions that our Gary unification theory poses to other theories? Yes, the questions are called question videos. It's on my channel page. There's a playlist called question videos. There's only 3 videos. Watch the first 2 specifically. How can we, they're not long videos, they're, 10-minute kind of thing. How can we ever be sure we aren't just imagining everything? Oh, whatever, who cares? It's irrelevant. We're already imagining our feelings. Our feelings aren't real. We're just imagining them. But obviously, as Einstein would say, it's one hell of an imagination. It's one hell of an illusion. There's no getting around it. Our brain is synthesizing something out of, it's making it. And we're basically pretending to be conscious. We're not really conscious. We're just pretending to be conscious. But we can't tell the difference. Did you see Professor Lewin's video on why he wasn't killed by the Nazis? Well, I saw him. He did a whole long thing a few years ago where he talked about the whole Nazi thing. And frankly, his story seemed a little bit grandiose. But I can't remember what his excuse was. It's like he had 15 cents or something, and the Nazis weren't sure where he was hiding it, so they didn't want to kill him because they didn't want to lose the 15 cents. I don't remember. I shouldn't belittle it, but frankly. I don't know. I just, frankly, I mean, it wasn't like he was living in the center of Germany or in Poland or something. I just don't know if the Nazis were all that horrible when they went into wherever he was, Dutchland or whatever. But I don't know now. I shouldn't just not say anything. I just, I'm just kind of full up on Nazi stories, frankly. I mean, so many of them have been aggrandized over the years that it just kind of turns me off a little. But it shouldn't, but I'm just saying it does. That's why I described as bent space, because it's been represented as a grid in 3D. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying this whole field theory where we just assign values to places in space, but we have no mechanism for those values to be created is retarded, in my opinion. There's obviously they're being created, and they're being created by a force that moves at the speed of light. It takes time to change those values. Something has to move to that location and change the value at that location. It doesn't just magically change. In this video, he just said it was because D-Day led to the end of the war and the Nazis would have eventually killed half Jewish people. Okay, yeah, well, maybe it's true. You know, look, they did have a final solution and all that kind of crap. If you were in a camp, you were probably going to get killed, but I don't know if he was in a camp. I mean, I think the Jews were, I think the Nazis, you know, a year before the war ended, I think they were done looking for Jews. They were just trying to figure out what to do with the ones they already had in cages, you know. And clearly they had the final solution paper was published saying basically work them to death. And if you can't kill them with work, then, you know, have a happy accident, you know. Right. Who wants to do Holocaust? See how Pirro does this. He just deliberately engineering a way to just fuck everything up by bringing up Hitler. Ugh. Let's talk about Hitler. Hitler physics. Damn it. No, let's not do that. But yeah, the half Jew thing is kind of interesting because Hitler had a ton of people working for him, you know, who were half Jewish, and he basically said, "Well, we'll forget about that half," you know. So anyway, yes, no more Hitler talk, and it was horrible what Hitler did. I don't want to imply any lack of empathy for the people ruined and destroyed and tortured and all that shit. Horrible, horrible. All right, so you think this update picture will be brighter or less bright? Let's see. It's been bright every time so far. Brighter, brighter. Let's see what happens. It's the same. Okay. Totally uninteresting and disappointing. Damn volcanoes. But the Geological Survey, they have one crappy website. You have to go fiddling around, looking around, trying to find what's a live cam, what's video, what's this, what's that, and they have their cameras in the shittiest places on Earth. It's like, here's an image of the sky. We have a camera pointed up at the sky. Yeah, here's one pointing down at the ground. Yeah, isn't that great? Really bad. I was thinking of getting a camera trap. Is that science related enough? Camera trap. I don't know what that is. They're down to $50 or so new at the cheap level. I don't know what a camera trap is. What the hell is that? Interesting. What I want to do, Pirro, is I want to use some JavaScript or Perl script to save these images to my server. So the images from their server, I want to move to my server, and I want to do it really easy. So how do I do that? So I don't want to look it up. It's everything I try always doesn't work. All my Perl scripts to try to save something from somebody else's server never works. And that might be because GoDaddy won't let me do it, but I'm just saying it's just weird that I haven't been able to successfully do that yet. Let's see. I know a motion sensor with a camera to take pictures of animals that wander by. Yeah, I have. You can do it with cheap cameras, actually. I got these, frankly, I got a ton of these cameras. They actually have it, but the sensors, you gotta be really careful which one you buy, because the sensors are either too sensitive or too insensitive. It's like you fucking have to like do this to the camera to turn it on. It's like it has to be a dramatic change, or else it's so subtle a change that the wind blowing and the camera just stays on. So that's the tricky part, is I've tried to do that here to catch praying mantises doing their thing and such, and it's never really worked very well. I usually just have to run the video for 3 hours and then just watch the video and pull out the decent parts. You can just do this live cam thing so damn easy. I mean, I can capture this webcam to my server fairly easy. It's just really, and then I have all these Androids doing it. It's really quite easy to do now. But yeah, the motion sensor thing is still a little buggy. I mean, I wanted to make my own motion sensor to turn the camera on, but I'm saying, oh, I got to make a switch, and then I have to do a relay, and I have to take the camera apart and have the on-off button. And yeah, that's going to take me too much time, so fuck it. That's just can't. I don't have enough time to do all the shit I want to do. I bought a thing of ferrofluid, and I haven't even opened it yet. $20. I haven't even opened it yet. All right, yeah, Perl should be great at that. However, it might be that the site you hit is redirecting. No, it's just one of these USGA sites. I just want to grab these images, and put them on my server, and then I can run them as 20 of them in a row, just so you can see a screenshot of it, so it looks like it's moving a little more action. Let's see. Also, there is the robot text thing that Perl by default probably specs it, and you can turn it off, assuming that you heard of robots text. No, I haven't heard of that. But I'll write it down. Well, this will be saved probably, so I'll catch it. Robots. I should be able to remember robots. Well, I probably won't be able to remember, so I better write down robots. Text. TXT. Write the right thing, Gary. All right, I'll look that up. So if you get the web page, it just has the address to the images on it. Yeah. So it's like an m.jpg. So I'm just getting the raw image. I just want to run a little script on the page. See, I can inject the script, no problem. So that I can do. So I'll inject the script, and I just want the JavaScript to save the image to my server without me having to do anything. So you get the web page. It just has the address. Yes. Have you ever tried growing tobacco? No, I've explained before. Tobacco is really hard to grow. It's an illusion to think tobacco is easy. It's really hard to grow tobacco, especially in New Jersey. You have to start indoors, and it's a really delicate plant. It's got all these fucking bugs that eat it, and it's really a pain in the ass. Well, I don't know if I can give you the URL, but it's here it is. Yeah. Let's see if I can paste it into the chat and if it'll accept it. Did it say something? Okay, let's try this. It looks like it worked. I mean, it broke the image, but I think it still works as an image. So take it to the location, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that worked. It'll let you do it, just not us. Let's see. It'll let you do it, not just us. I don't know what that is. Well, they're public domain images, so they're not going to be protected. They're not protected in any way, and I can run them. Like I said, I I can inject a script that refreshes the image. I can do all that stuff, and then it'll time when the Perl script saves it. So I can do that part myself. It will let you publish a link in chat, not us. Oh, yes. Well, that's really stupid, I think. How to fix that. Everything that YouTube does is stupid. I mean, did you hear they're getting rid of the PMs? So you're not going to be able to PM anybody anymore. I mean, that's just, I mean, I don't use it much, but it's really good to make sure somebody's who they are. You know, it's a really good system for security. It's just stupid. They're getting rid of, why get rid of it? You know, it seems to me like it'd be to their own advantage to keep the communication thing open. Why would you destroy your own email system? Essentially, I mean, it's, you know, something the public uses, they find it useful, it's on your website, it makes your website more relevant to their lives. I don't know why you'd get rid of that. That's like Facebook getting rid of messaging. Why would they do that? That would be stupid. Oh, you asked a question. Oh, thank you. I don't know what question you asked. Yeah, well, it's just not the personal part. I'm just saying, if you want to, like for me, if I want to send somebody the link to this room, now I won't be able to send it to their email at YouTube. So I won't know if it's really them, right? They could post a freaking email address, and I'd be like, oh yeah, right. You know, it's just gonna be a lot harder to know who you're sending something to. Yeah, I want to send that image. I want to save that image. I want to FTP it essentially, or however you want to think of it. I want to send it to my server. Yes. I mean, it'd probably be okay to save it to my hard drive too, I suppose, but then I still have to send it to the server. So it'd be easier just to send it to my server if I can. Well, to have my server grab the image. I need a Perl script that'll tell my server to go get the image and bring it home and save it. Yes, I can. Perl works. Yes. I do everything in CGI scripts. So do you agree that all celestial objects emit and reflect photons? Well, I don't believe in dark matter, if that's what you're asking. So, yes, I believe every piece of matter reflects or absorbs photons. I mean, if they absorb them as energy. So they have to account for the energy absorption. Photons are either absorbed or reflected by material bodies. And a reflection is an absorption or a re-ejection. So, you know, it gets kind of technical. I don't believe in dark matter. Is that the answer to your question? I believe photons are an electron force and they will interact with anything that has electrons. Which includes neutrons, by the way. It's no big deal, Piero. I don't want you to go to any trouble. I mean, it's, you know, like I said, it's something I can probably look up. I've tried to be. I just, like I said, I've never had any. I've never been too lucky. So I'm just, if you knew it offhand, and fine. I don't want to stress you or anything. I know that Perl has some special spidering uh, additions, but I think you have to have the right libraries for the spidering things to work. And you know, I might not have that on my server. But I don't, can't be, you can't know until you try it, actually, as I found. Yeah, well, because you don't know, you say, yeah, it's easy in Perl, except I never wrote anything in Perl. It's pretty funny. Maybe it's not as easy as you think. No, I really like Perl, frankly. I've done some interesting things, so it is fun, but it is buggy. I mean, you really do have to, you know, you got to get every little thing right, or it doesn't work. It doesn't give you really good error information. So it's like, yeah. Well, anyway, it can be an awful pain in the ass. Yeah, well, I hate, well, I've already said this, but I hate the whole, what's the alternative for the interactive websites? What do they all use? The PD something or other. What the hell is that? Can't even remember the name of it. I just hate that everything turned into fucking, they stopped using HTML and we're using that, that sort of has Perl built into it, whatever it's called. That stupid active, yeah, PHP. Oh, I hate that shit. So I've just never been able to convert. I can't stand it. I admit it does some things like email and stuff. It does it very well, but I just hate it. So I'm still old school in terms of I love a good CGI script. I mean, my brain still thinks everything should be, you should try to make as much of the work client side as possible and as least of the work server side. And it's just funny that they went the other way. Okay, this worked for me as a one-liner. Good. I'll try this script second. I don't know what that means, but okay. You have to OP me to let me post something with a link. OP, what does that mean? Yeah, okay, I'll OP you. Let's see if there's an OP option. Let's see, go to channel report, remove, put user in a timeout. Is that an OP? Does that mean operator or something? Moderator? Well, why don't you just send it to my email? So send it to, Gary at Inmendum or Gary at Do Not Go. Better. Do Not Go. A wrench. I don't know if there's a wrench option here. I just see moderator. I don't see a wrench. So I have to do wrenching somewhere else. Yeah. Is a moderator a wrencher? OP, operator, give me the wrench. Yes, better to email. Thank you. Who knows what it's going to do to script? You just try to post this Perl script. I don't remember what they called it. It's moderator, and it puts a wrench icon next to the user. Well, I'll give you one, but I mean, I'm sure I'm going to have to block you later. So it's sort of a waste of a wrench, I think. But let me see what happens if I make you a moderator. Let's see if that gives you a wrench. Yeah, you have a wrench. Yeah. He's all wrenched. Oh, cool. Bureau has a wrench, or he knows what a wrench is. Uh, what's this thing for? Picking the crap out of your ears? Wrench. I don't do wrenches. Did you get the... Oh, yeah, you're the guy who sent me the silly crap on string theory. I watched one of the lectures, so I did put in an hour. But, I mean, it's silly shit. I mean, I can't believe somebody sends me a whole DVD on string theory. I mean, it has like 700 hours of bullshit on it. Net FTP and possible net. Yeah, well, I don't know if I have net FTP and possible net, but well, I'll find out, I guess. Oh, anyway, the scale part. Okay, let's see. The scale part question. So that's a string theory question, the scale part. I don't know. I don't remember. I watched it like 2 weeks ago. It was just blah, 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 blah. It was like listening. It was like Charlie Brown episode, and it's like the mother talking. I mean, it's just all gibberish to me. Imagine everything is connected to everything with little rubber bands. And they play a wonderful song when you strum them. La 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 la. It's a math model. It can't be proven yet. I don't think it can be even rationally demonstrated yet. I don't think it can be. I don't think you can. I don't think a serious person could listen to it and still want to live. It's just gibberish. It's just fucking gibberish. I mean, the guy is telling me how I'm going to explain this without mathematics. He's not explaining anything. I mean, people just aren't going to get it, but I've actually figured out the real physics, and it's really simple. It's just this push force, and it just relies on the simple little polarization thing, and that creates all the charge effects. And, you know, if you move a proton really fast, like close to the speed of light, the proton isn't a proton anymore. It's going to lose all of its charge, and then you're going to think it's a Higgs boson, or you're going to think it's some other wacky particle because it's not going to be charged anymore because you're moving it half the speed or 3/4 the speed or the 99% the speed of light. And people just don't get it. What is string theory basically? It's a theory that basically says there's a magical string, a piece of tension between everything inside of an atom, and the little strings vibrate like little waves that just vibrate, and they create a little sound, and the sound is the electrical field and the magnetical field. Sound through the ether. La, 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 la. It's a crock of fucking shit. How the size of the atom relates to the subatomic level of scale. Well, that's a pile of crap. Yeah. Jeez. Nobody can interpret that sentence. I bet Piro couldn't even come up with an explanation for that sentence. Many orders of magnitude. Well, adding that doesn't help it any. Thank you, Piro, even though you're a scummy piece of shit. Appreciate it. Yes, I'll obviously have to change the server reference and all that crap. Thank you. I should be able to handle that. Well, I like the wrench thing. It's funny. So we'll leave it for now. Let's see. No, I sent it with the same URL you gave. Well, I just meant my server URL will have to be in the script somewhere, or the script's not going to fucking work. The highest praise, but it saves the file to lavacone.jpg. Fine. I'm just saying it has to save it to a location, I assume. So it has to know where to send it. If it's running on the server. Oh, I get you. So it doesn't need the server because it's already on the server. Sorry. Yes, you're right. So I just have to pop it into a directory. Oh, got it. I just mean there should be some reference to the location the file will be saved to. That's all. So I'll just run it. I'll just save it to the same place it's running. That should solve the problem. Yes, I'll just run it in the same directory it saves in. Yes, got it. Okay, thank you. Hopefully it'll work and that'll be cool. The URL can accept files. I don't know what that is exactly, but the point is, yes, that doesn't matter. I'll just save the files in the same directory that the script is running in. No complications needed. Yeah, it really is. It really. So I'm just surprised how few people are impressed because I'm impressed. It impresses me. Particle accelerators disturb the atom from its natural state. That's not even true. Particle accelerators now, the Hadron Collider, for example, doesn't even mess with atoms anymore. It doesn't even shoot shit at targets anymore. It's smashing protons into protons. Yeah, it's really bad. I just, like I said, I can't. I'm scared for. If I was living in Hawaii, it'd be like, oh man, everything's going to double in price. Because how are they going to pay for this? It's just going to be cost so much money to clean this mess up. Yeah, well, I guess they're in trouble just because all the cruise ships are afraid to go to Hawaii now because they're afraid all the lace stuff will fly into their passengers and kill them all. So, it is. It's not good for Hawaii, but like I said, it still is a natural event taking place, and whether it's good for the locals or not, it should be paid attention to. It's a pretty amazing natural happening. I mean, the scale of it, I'm just saying, it's just so much bigger than in terms of volume. It's just, it's just so much fucking lava. Yes, all the poor little Pyros are all being displaced. Ah! Yeah, people are really quite cruel, when they have comments open on these, live cams, and people are just like, well, if they're stupid enough to build a house there, they should get buried in lava, the dumb fucks. It's just like, come on. I mean, I say the same thing about people who, build their houses on fucking sandbars. But I don't know if it's exactly the same thing. I mean, volcanoes can go dormant for 200 years. I mean, sometimes, it's pretty safe. Yeah, I think they kind of, I think that for the gas to get you, the wind has to be blowing just the wrong way. Generally speaking, I don't think that's that bad, but you don't want to be breathing in that glass shit. That's got to be really bad for you. That's got to be like black lung in 2 days. Yeah, well, I mean, insurance really doesn't save anybody. I mean, insurance is you pay for it one way or the other, and you're usually just paying the insurance company extra money. So I'm not really a big fan of insurance. There's no free lunch. Yeah, well, tomorrow the wind's supposed to change from what I understand. So tomorrow could be a problem. Everybody north is going to get a whiff of it tomorrow. They're saying. I mean, apparently the weather forecasters in Hawaii are the worst in the world, from what I've heard, and they've never ever gotten anything right. So because they make way more than half of, yeah, well, I'm just saying they shouldn't have private insurance companies is always a bad idea, so I don't believe in private insurance. I'm just saying that insurance isn't really a concept. It's always got to be paid for. It doesn't pay the bill. Yeah, no, it's like, people who are wiped out, and you got to say, yeah, it's hard to say tough luck. But you got to do something, I guess. But yeah, I would put a trailer or something up or whatever, and they could say, yeah, you live in the trailer. I guess I can't do much else for you. Yeah, it's always going to be expensive. I'm just saying it's one of the expenses of living in Hawaii. I'm just saying the price for this is going to be high. I'm just saying this is a 50-year flood kind of hurricaney thing. This is going to be expensive. Just saying, nobody has an insurance fund. Nobody has. I'm just saying, everybody's broke in the world. I'm just saying, broke people are going to have to pay for this. So I'm just saying, it's going to be expensive. Hawaii is going to be an expensive place to live for the next couple of years. Yeah, it's a big budget, but frankly, I mean, this little town of 10,000 people pisses through freaking $8 million a year. you know, fucking 10,000 people, $8 million. I mean, fuck. And most of it goes to a preposterously indulgent high school, where they you know, put skateboard parks in and everything else. It's crazy. A few years ago, they built $1 million music room $1 million music room, with a grand piano on a little pedestal. It's just, what the fuck? Why is that in a high school? A public high school? They have AstroTurf, soccer field, AstroTurf football fields. I mean, just insanely silly waste of money. Unless that's the cost of the property they had to buy next to the school to get it. It's it being in Mendham. No, they didn't have to buy anything, but they had extra room for the expansion. Yeah, I know they could have, but they didn't. They obviously got rip-off contractors and did it the most expensive way possible. Quite obviously, you know, they got Dr. Evil to build it or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's just insanely stupid. They just had dredged the mud hole, right? It's a stupid little mud hole pond, and it cost over $800,000. They had to do this, and they had to do that, and they had to do this. It's $800,000 for a muddy pond. What's the irony is this is a very Republican town. No Democrat has ever been on the town council, so very Republican, and yet they pay the cops an insane amount of money, over 100 grand in salary plus another 50 grand in benefits, $150,000 for a cop. And they pay the frickin' clerk who has to do almost nothing, $75,000. They pay the administrator $170,000, $180,000 plus benefits. And these are Republicans. And you're saying, why don't they break these unions? Why don't they just say, fuck you, we're not going to hire one of you underqualified, over-titled lunatics. You're a fucking secretary. You get like 35 grand a year. You don't get no fucking $75,000 to be a secretary. And they can't do anything. They don't know how the internet works. They can't even attach files to an email. I mean, they're just so fucking retarded, and they're paying them $75,000 plus benefits. And you're saying these are Republicans. Why are Republicans doing this? I can't for the life of me understand it. That they're so cheap, and they don't want to pay anybody for working. Like, especially if they sweat, they don't want to pay them anything. And yet they'll pay these government officials all this fucking money. And you're saying, why are they doing it? They're Republicans. They should find it obnoxious to be overpaying people like this. And yet they don't seem to have any principles once they're in government. They just, these are the people that are going to cover up my crimes. So of course I have to overpay them because they have to lie for me. Yeah, well, I've restarted my scrutiny of the local government. It's just getting documents from these idiots has been a nightmare. I mean, they just make it so hard to even, to do anything. They turn everything into a project, and you just know that, you're playing with your life because you just know the cops, you piss the wrong people off, and they're just going to show up at your house, throw a bag of cocaine on your floor, and arrest you. You just know it's coming. I mean, it's just so bad. Well, I just mean people keep thinking that this, local politics isn't as dirty and as smelly and as rotten as national politics, and it's just as bad. They're all graft seeking, they want to change a law just because they have half interest in some business that they want to let in and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, they all got wheels turning. Well, like I said, it adds up to, $8 million in this town. It's a lot of fucking money. And they don't pick up the garbage. You have to pay to have somebody pick up your garbage. I mean, we don't get any, for the $8 million, we get nothing. There just isn't a public service. Oh yeah, they fix potholes and stuff, but I just mean there's just no extras for that money. No, anyway, all right. Give you people like the 15-minute warning or so, maybe. I have to get tired eventually. Go to bed and shit. That is pretty Republican. Usually rich go ahead and have services when it's their own town. Yeah, I'm just saying it is, yeah, they got nothing, no perks here at all. Just the bare of minimums. It's all about the kids and the children. They have a cop at the high school. You could just imagine what that duty's like. You get paid 150 grand, with the benefits to go hang out with the high school kids. Yeah. Real challenging duty. Fuck. I mean, you're just like a security guard. Is it? You can't hire like a security guard for 40 grand a year. Come on. Where'd all the non-wrenched people go? How many people are in this room anyway? Watching the not very live volcano. Yeah, update the image. Come on, update the image. No, same image. That cop probably has 8 solid weeks of training. He deserves it. Yeah, that's the other thing. So hilarious, right? I mean, when you find out how long cops are trained, it's like, oh yeah, 3 months course, three months course. There's nothing special. It's like the clerk took some night school classes or something. Oh, now I'm qualified to get paid $75,000 to do, secretarial duties. Do them poorly. Yeah, if I was a normal citizen, I would definitely go for the old civil service job because it just looks like a huge. You want to become a millionaire? Get a government job. I heard that somewhere that teachers are. It's like one of the most reliable ways to guarantee yourself being a millionaire is to become a teacher. Is if you stick in it for the 30 years, you'll be a millionaire. Yet they whine and go, oh, we're so underpaid. Well, except we get this huge increase in our salary just for showing up. And by the time we're there for 25 or 30 years, you're going to be paying us $150,000. Yeah. And it'd be really easy to put away 50 grand a year. And yeah, and then I'll get a pension of 75 grand. And yeah, life will be really good because I'll be really fucking rich. And I won't have to wait till I'm 65 to retire, because it's not like I'm doing that silly Social Security thing. I don't have to do that. Oh yes, the world is just so broken. And it must acknowledge that I have, I can fix it all because I fix physics. So if I can fix physics, I can fix anything. Probably true. Oh, that's a little brighter. Let's see if the old crater's doing anything. The crater, I don't think they do the infrared thing at the crater, so I think it just goes black. Let's see. See what the crater's doing in the dark. Ooh, look at that crater. Ooh, it disappeared entirely. It's completely gone sunk millions of miles into the center of the earth. We're in big trouble now. The dark matter is taken over. It's filled. The black hole has filled the entire crater. We're doomed. Yeah, so that image is of little value at night. Well, it's hard not to get upset about politics now just because it's so bad. I mean, the Trump thing is so bad. I mean, he's just such a compulsively, weaselly, lying piece of crap. It's just amazing he's president. Oh, so preposterous. But it's like, the Yankees versus the Confederates. I mean, it's the bad blood. It's just, one side can't see anything. It's just, nope, we have to shoot each other. Can't have a conversation. Really, it does look like there's a little bit of an incursion in the levee there. Looks like that lava might be trying to break through. Let's see. Started getting bent out of shape on pilot. Yeah, it's weird how he doesn't even pretend to be qualified. I don't know what that means, but whatever. Well, they're in silly mode. I mean, you see it. Like I said, all they can talk about is hamburgers and hot dogs, and it's like, jeez, they don't even have any imagination in what they eat. They don't, It's like, um, yeah, I don't know. People are just so fucking trivial. Yeah, make Russia great again. Oh, I mean, make America great again. Yeah, yeah. Russia first, then America. So, anyway, this camera's a little bit too much light, I guess. I should have fixed that earlier. No, that isn't much better, actually. Let's see if I turn it off, what happens. I never turn this light off. Yeah, it's still kind of weird. I need a better lighting source. That's what I need. Probably should turn off the overhead light. That's probably the one that's getting me in some trouble. But anyway, it's probably time to go. This is some kind of winding down here. Yes, likewise, stupid, retarded fairy creature of the night. With a wrench. Trying to scare people with your wrench. Certainly the wrench of evil doing, no doubt. So anyway, yes, so till the next lava report. Yeah, we'll see what I get done. See if I do any programming. Ooh. Anyway, yeah, so much to do. Gotta do my ferrofluid and stuff. Gotta do experiments. I haven't turned a laser on in a couple of weeks. Got so many things to do. So much to do. So little time. Hey, there's some Amanda. I still owe you some money. And such. What else did I have to? Something else I had to say. Oh yeah, I might have fucked up the email on on Derived Energy account. so yeah, I might have to fix that. I don't know. I think I made a catch-all. Because I moved my domain over, from GoDaddy because they broke the forwarding on the inmendum.com thing like 2 years ago, and they've never been able to fix it. So I just said, finally, fuck it. I'm not gonna, I got to transfer it because I got to have this thing work because it's ruined all my search engine relevance. Now my website's invisible on Google. But anyway, so I moved it over, but then they have a new racket at DreamHost or whatever it is. Now they don't let you create a catch-all mail account on the new accounts. And so you have to have I've probably used 20 different varieties of, something at inmendum.com as, return addresses. And now I have to make a separate account for each one of those to get my emails. It's just such a hassle. But anyway, that's another programming thing. But I just mean, it's just everything. It's just nothing works the way it's supposed to. But the cool thing, Amanda, is I only paid $10 for the .com transfer for a year. So I was thinking that maybe every year we ought to just transfer all the domains from DreamHost to GoDaddy, and then transfer them back and forth so we get the $10 price. It's just such a racket, everything's a racket. I hate everything. Everything's just that's something CERN did. So it's another reason to hate particle physicists, because they're the ones who made domain names 10 times more expensive than they should be. The fucking shysters. They had complete control over the domain name system, and they deliberately and willfully turned it into a for-profit business. Yes, asphalt is very, very good for Earth. I agree. Yeah, I didn't figure you used it. I didn't think you used it for anything, so I didn't think it would be a crisis. But I can fix it. It's just, just the stupid system. It kept popping the wrong domain name up when I was making email addresses, and each time you have to click on it and go, no, I don't want Derived Energy. I want inmendum.com. And every time I go back to the page, it keeps popping Derived Energy. And no, I don't want that one. I want inmendum.com. So once I figured out that I had to keep changing it, then I wasn't fucking things up. But it's, their system isn't very robust. You can certainly say that for DreamHost. Their automated system is a little bit buggy. It doesn't even make sense. I mean, you can't even figure out what your choice is. They give you 3 options: Snuka Franca, Bistupa, or Nakatakataka. You're like, I don't want any one of those. I just want my email to go to my forwarded address. Do you have something called forwarding? You don't have anything called forwarding. So, yeah, but there's just no, there's no good options. They all suck. It's like cable TV. It's all suck. And so internet, you have to deal with some sucky company that's going to suck. You don't really have a choice to go with the non-suck company. Nope, they all suck. So let's see, one more update maybe. I really should go because I complain about time and then I waste time yammering about nothing. Well, not nothing. Less than enough. Yeah. But it's good to see Amanda. I keep meaning to make you a video. I just don't do it. I don't know why. There's terrible things I do. There's some guy in Pakistan, right? And I've talked to him a couple of times, and I feel really bad. He lives in Pakistan, and he's a Nepalist, and he's just, it's horrible. And I really should call him, and I just don't do it, and it's just so rude. But I've become so freaking. It's not like I'm introverted because I'm here in this room, right? So it's not like I'm hostile to communicating. It's just, I don't know what it is, but I don't like doing anything personal anymore. It's the mood I'm in. I don't like confronting anybody in a personal way. It's like I want everybody to be cybernetic, just be some sort of hologram of a person, not a real person. Then I can deal with you. But if you're a real person, it's like, ugh. Maybe I watched that movie AI again, the old one, and maybe watching that movie's turned me into, just horny for robots. Just give me robot people. They're so much easier to understand. I mean, real robots versus biological robots. But the real answer is probably something else. I'm probably just having a mood, menopause or something. My vagina's gotten very old. Let's see, what else is news? I broke a light bulb. It's really stupid. See, now the LED ones, they make them out of plastic. So it's just plastic over there. Like this is one of the CFL kind. So they put glass around the glass bulb. So I didn't break the bulb. I just broke this stupid piece of glass around the bulb. And it makes all this nasty, sharp glass. It's so stupid. I'm never going to, CFL bulbs are so stupid compared to LEDs anyway. I do wish I was a machine of some kind. Well, you are. So you just, you're just a shitty one. Because you have all this gooiness. You have a bunch of goo in your machinery. But you are just a machine. Just a reflexive pile of crap. A bunch of learned reflexes. Oh, I'm just being me, which is redundant. I've been me for 58 years. Just redundantly doing me. Same stupid program, just over and over and over again. Ugh. I should read comments from this live stream of the volcano. Let's see. Oakley Dokley, I'm onto that. Oh my God, people, Steffa. I don't know what that means. Yes, CBC. I don't know what that means. Copperhead Radio, Copperhead Road by Steve Earle. So they're talking about some music now, I guess. Leonard Cohen. Hallelujah. Yeah. There's a volcano blowing up their island, and they're sitting there talking about rubbish. Just, people. I mean, they're just such pieces of shit. Hall and Oates. Oh, gee, what a cool reference that is. Love that song. Oh, they're talking about songs. There's volcanoes spewing megatons of crap onto their fucking island, burning their houses down, and they're just talking absolute shit. I mean, just it's just like you can't, you can't cover this planet in lava fast enough. Bye. Be right back. Gotta pee. And the guy's called Rick. So Rick is got to go pee. Isn't that cute and special? Just amazing. Night with a little moony symbol. Oh, now they're talking about TV shows. Hawaii Five-0. I guess that's a music too, though. Yeah. Yeah, well, Yellowstone will have its day, right? Yeah, someday Yellowstone's going to blow its lid, and that's really going to be an event you don't want to be too close to. But anyway, no, I don't want to be doing Yellowstone talk here. That's yeah. I've sort of made a mess of doing physics here. But anyway, it happens now and then. We get off subject a little. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, it really is. But we'll just pretend it's not a crisis. But yeah, it's probably a crisis. So anyway, till next time. I really should go now. One more update. Let's see. Oh, it looks exactly the same. Damn it. But it's just a river of death. Yes. So I should like it. Yeah, except that, like I said, I mean, there's the guy who, when the cat was coming up to the guy, and the cat was basically saying, "Get me out of here, get me out of here, get me out of here." And he, well, I can't be bothered, sorry. Fucking asshole. Well, you'd have to build the channel out of something really, really strong, like tungsten or something. It's obviously 2,000 degrees in there. 2,000 degrees is going to melt whatever you put in there. So you're just basically turning it into garbage really quickly. So it'd be kind of expensive. But you think they could put like little, maybe just throw little bombs in it. Like even like they could deliberately channel the flow, like they could break the levees and at least force the lava to go somewhere else besides the important spots. So you think they could have figured that part out. Because actually, if they could break this flow here, there's kind of a direct line to the coast, and it's really not even a very good piece of the coast. So they could just go a direct line to the coast, and that way this wouldn't have done all this damage. But they let this thing drift for 2 miles and then wipe out some of the best real estate in South Hawaii. So that was kind of retarded. So yeah, I agree. They probably should have plans ready to say, hey, we need to blow this wall up so all this lava spills right to the ocean. Yeah, I mean, they really should have a plan, and it's like they got no plan. Because it's pretty easy to divert. Like I said, all you really have to do is break one of these levees, and you could just divert all of this lava, give it a nice straight line path right to the ocean. And instead, they're letting it meander all over the fucking place. Yeah, I didn't think about it, but shit, you're right. This is like another problem they should have fixed. Stupid fucktards. Phew. God damn, world really is just hopelessly stupid. But anyway, yeah, I guess it just takes balls to do. That's the kind of thing because obviously, if something goes wrong, then everybody will be mad at you. But it couldn't have gone as wrong as what happened. I mean, what they let happen is they let some of the best pieces of their little island get covered in lava, which is really dumb. So anyway, a little bit of commentary at the end, so that's good. It's good for everybody to have a little commentary for dessert. All right, one more update. I just can't refuse. See what it does. Brighter, dimmer. Come on, should be an update by now. What are they doing every 10 minutes? Come on, it should be an update. Update. Fucker. All right, I'm gonna wait for the update. Their clock is like 3 minutes off. Stupid bastards. Do. Come on. It's a 5-minute thing, so it should be. It says 38 on my clock, so it's way past due. So it's usually four minutes off. So 4 minutes, so it should be any minute now. Come on. Fucker. Update. Yep. Come on, it's 4 minutes now. So you're 4 minutes past the update time. Come on. Your clock is 10 minutes off? The clock must be 10 minutes off. Okay, I'll let go the full 10 minutes. We'll go. Your clock is 10 minutes to fuck off. I can't blame them. It's probably just the PC camera that's doing it. And those cameras, you know, if you don't set the time right, they always go off. So it's probably not their fault. Stupid camera's fault. But not might be computers is putting that on there. So who knows who's doing what. All right. Should be an update by now. Come on. Oh, come on. It's a full 5 minutes, 10 minutes difference in the sense that, well, it's going to come up 20:35 when it comes up. But it's this full 5 minutes off my clock. Damn it. Well, let's just wait and see how many minutes it is. All right, sorry. I know this is not very good. But it's the end anyway, so I didn't promise you anything here at the end. Nope. Nope. Come on. It's got to, okay, I say it's got to be updated now. Come on. Update. Update. Damn it. I have to put a code in when I do it to make sure it gets the new image, forces it to grab the newest one. And sometimes the refresh doesn't actually know that it's supposed to get the new image. I should put some fucktarded code after the image, timing code. Yeah, and Windows used to be able to do a for sure update by hitting Shift and F5, but that doesn't work anymore. Right, the F5 key. Just as a regular update. I want my new image, damn you. Come on. All right, I'm going to stay until I get my new image. I'm not leaving until I get my new image, damn it. Nope. All right, use explosives. Open pit mines, use those explosives. Get a Facebook. No. You would be a pro at stalking updates. I don't know what that even means, but fuck you. Oh, a unicorn. Yes, well, Piro's not here to enjoy it. Maybe you can get some like lollipops and cotton candy. Yeah, 40. So it waited 10 minutes. I never got my 2035 update. Fucking criminals. I guess maybe the infrared image is only every 10 minutes. I wish they would grow up. I mean, the federal government can't afford a better camera than this. Jeez. Ooh, another unicorn. Too bad you don't have a left-right unicorn. You can have like, bookend unicorns. Or maybe a girl unicorn and a boy unicorn instead of this androgynous unicorn. Doesn't know which one he is. He has kind of a little puny horn too. I don't know why he has brown hair. I don't think unicorns have brown hair. Maybe it's supposed to be gold, but it doesn't look gold. 3 unicorns. Yeah, I wonder if you can get 3 unicorns in Vegas. Yeah, what do you get for 3 unicorns? Fake money. Yeah. Imaginary fable money. Gingerbread money. Yeah, we'll give you some gingerbread money. All right, well, I got my updated image, and it's way past bedtime, and I'm not getting anything done. I'm not doing anything productive, so time to go. Do productive things or not. So anyway, thank you for the participation. Sorry we didn't do enough physics, so therefore we failed as a physics room. But, there was physical things in the room, like big piles of lava spilling over shit. So it did have some relevance and meaning in sort of an obscure kind of way. And we get to have a little bit of image fun before I go. Let's make me very skinny and very tall. Yes, and then let's move us around. All right, enough of that crap. Till the next time and such.